Could there be more scandals coming Michigan's way? They've started an investigation. They are apparently looking into things, but there is a rumor out there, talked about on a podcast by a veteran sports journalist and media personality, that there could be another scandal coming towards Michigan's way. And honestly, like this kind of stuff, I don't do a ton. We do live in the rumor world a little bit, but. Some of this stuff I don't really do all that much, but because there has been so much going on at Michigan and because the school has been so scandal ridden, I did think it would be interesting to pull a snippet from a podcast and talk about it. The snippet was posted on Twitter. Now, granted, it's by a Michigan State fan. This is a Michigan State, reporter, journalist type of guy. So obviously there's some bias here. I'm not trying to say that this is 100% completely true, but I do think that it's interesting and I do want to kind of talk about it a little bit and further go into Michigan just needs to clean house at this point. If this is true, whether it is or not, Michigan needs to clean house, get rid of Warde Manuel, get rid of the people in the administration. There are some regents, in my opinion, that they need to move on from because right now I think there are people in the Michigan, administration, departments, things like that, that care more about themselves than they do about the university. And I do not think that that should be the way it is, quite frankly. So we're going to listen in a little bit of context and backstory. So, the story with Michigan, I mean, very short version, is that back early on in the season, September, October, I believe it was, there was talk about the inappropriate relationship of Sherrone Moore and the female staff member. Most people probably know who that name is. If you've been on Twitter for any longer than 20 minutes and searched this stuff up, you probably know who that is. But basically, the story goes that they investigated this before and they both denied that it was happening. There was thoughts of it happening before. And then after the Ohio State game when Michigan lost, that's when it's said that things really heated up. Who knows how true that is? That seems to be the way it is, and it seems to be where all the reporting is coming from. But obviously, we don't always know all those things for sure. Sometimes things get mixed up a little bit and how those things go. So eventually, Sherrone Moore was caught for having the inappropriate relationship with the staff member because the staff member broke up with him and went to the university, giving them credible evidence of the relationship that was going on. And that's kind of how we got all of this. Sherrone Moore gets fired. He gets upset. He goes over to her house, threatens to, off himself, all these things. So, anyway. Let's listen into this portion of the podcast. This podcast is the Jack Ebling the drive with Jack Ebling. Jack Ebling is somebody who's very well known, veteran sports journalist. He's based out of Michigan, primarily covering Michigan State. He does some Big Ten stuff. He won Sports Writer of the Year award 3 times in 1994, 97, and 2000, and he was also Michigan Sportscaster of the Year 3 times in 2000, in the later 2010s, I believe it was 3 times, maybe it was 2 times. But he's won that a couple times as well, and then a national media sports media association recognized him for some stuff too. So this isn't just some Joe Schmo. This is a guy who has credentials, who has been very well recognized in his time in the media. Like him or not, he's somebody that doesn't just blow smoke and gets everything wrong. I'm not going to say he's gotten everything right. Obviously, nobody's gotten everything right. But he talked on his podcast about this whole Michigan situation, and let's listen into what he has to say. Oh,
Reiner, the things we're going to hear in the next.
Okay, so this is Jack Ebling speaking to his co-host on the show, Reiner. This is Jack Ebling speaking.
48 hours, 4 weeks, whatever.
I should preface, I apologize, I'll start it from the very beginning. I should preface that this was made or posted on December 12th. So he's talking about 48 hours. It has been 48 hours since then, but he does preface it with later on. So, take that for what it's worth. Anyway, I'll start it over again. But I did want to talk about when it was posted and that kind of stuff. So here we go.
Reiner, the things we're going to hear in the next 48 hours, 4 weeks, whatever, are going to be so incredible and mind-boggling. Just got a text with one saying that it's going to come out that former Michigan All-American and NFL star, I think you would say, um, and some other players threatening the victim if she dared to change her story and go to Warde Manuel. Again, you know.
All right, so if you didn't catch that there, basically what Ebling is saying there is that there he has been told, allegedly there are Michigan players and even a Michigan, a former Michigan NFL star, All-American, who was threatening the person in the relationship. He calls her the victim here, but the person in the relationship with Sherrone Moore, that if she goes to Warde Manuel and she presents the evidence, that that there would be consequences. Essentially, we'll listen to it again just really fast, just to make sure we get it right.
Saying that it's going to come out that former Michigan All-American and NFL star, I think you would say, um, and some other players threatening the victim if she dared to change her story and go to Warde Manuel. Again.
And that fits, right? Because the whole story was that she denied that the relationship was happening. Basically them saying that if she denied that it did happen, if she did not keep denying that it did happen, that there would be consequences for that, and basically threatening her, as the word Jack Ebling uses there. Who knows what exactly that means? But at this point, I don't really put anything past Michigan with what everything has been going on there. There's an investigation going on right now. For all we know, this is a story that people got on Friday and they've been waiting to put out until Monday morning. You might listen to this, Monday at 1 o'clock and say, "Oh, that story's already come out." Who knows? But essentially, let's hope this never happened. Obviously, we don't want victims being threatened or people in a relationship to be threatened. But if that has happened, this would just mean more and more issues for Michigan, more and more things going on. By every indication, people have talked about it. The players knew about this. There was even one person. I shouldn't say who it is, but there was one person that said that the Michigan players may have even been using this as leverage against Sherrone Moore to give them more playing time. Somebody who is an older player that didn't deserve as much playing time as they were getting could have possibly used it against Sherrone Moore. If that's the case, that's really dirty, and that just continues to show how much Sherrone Moore wasn't really fit for the job. I mean, he's obviously wasn't fit for the job before, but players utilizing something like that, blackmailing him so they could get playing time. Just a disgusting situation. We'll see what comes out. Continue to pray for Sherrone Moore's family and everything else. They didn't ask this to happen to them by any means, and this is, the uh, very poor decisions of one man who's making a lot of this stuff happen. And hopefully, the findings of Michigan's investigation will show that a lot needs to be cleaned out there at Michigan, because it's been scandal after scandal for the past 5 or 6 years, and there's no place for that. Number one, at Michigan for the institution it is, and number two in the Big Ten, for where we pride ourselves in so many different things. So very concerning stuff coming out of here. We'll see if it happens. Not going to speculate on who anybody was or anything like that. But definitely some interesting stuff. We'll see what happens. Let me know your comments, your thoughts down below. Let me know what you guys think. If you think I'm crazy for even posting this and playing it, that's fine. But like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. We finally reached 5,000, and we very much appreciate this. I did something like this with the real story of Sherrone Moore, with Darker State, Justin Spiro, and so you guys really seem to like that. So the more kind of stuff like this you guys seem to like, I'll continue to put it out there, and continue to kind of react with you guys and everything. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.